Hey, everyone, and welcome to this deep dive into building resilience and grit.
Yeah.
We're going to be exploring what these qualities actually are,
Hmm.
how they connect to long-term success, and most importantly, how you can develop them.
Absolutely.
We've got a really fascinating mix of sources to draw on today.
Yeah.
Everything from motivational audiobook excerpts to strategies from self-help books,
Hmm.
and even some mind-bending insights about attention and memory from the invisible gorilla.
It is a really interesting mix, and what's fascinating to me is they all offer different angles on the same core ideas.
Yeah.
How to build that mental toughness, stay motivated, and ultimately achieve your goals.
Right. So let's start with defining these terms.
Okay.
What exactly is resilience and how does it differ from grit?
So resilience is often described as the ability to bounce back from adversity.
Okay.
It's that inner strength that allows you to navigate challenges, setbacks, even failures without getting completely derailed. Grit, on the other hand, is more about that sustained passion and perseverance towards long-term goals. It's about having that unwavering determination to keep going even when things get tough, even when you want to quit.
So would it be fair to say that resilience helps you weather the storms
Yeah,
while grit keeps you moving forward on your journey?
that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
They do work together, but they are distinct qualities.
Hmm.
You might be incredibly resilient in the face of a sudden crisis,
Yeah.
but without grit, you might struggle to maintain momentum on a long-term project.
Interesting. So let's dive into some of the strategies for developing these qualities.
Okay.
One of our sources, Echoes of Empowerment, talks about the power of visualization in
Ah,
building resilience.
right.
And it's not just about positive thinking, right? It's
Exactly.
about something deeper.
Echoes of Empowerment highlights that our subconscious mind doesn't always distinguish between real and imagined experiences.
Okay.
So when you vividly imagine yourself successfully navigating a challenge,
Yeah.
your mind starts to create a blueprint for how to respond in real life.
Ah.
It's almost like mental rehearsal.
So are we saying that if you vividly imagine yourself overcoming an obstacle,
Yeah.
you're actually more likely to succeed in real life?
Think of it this way.
Okay.
Visualizing success helps to build confidence and reduces the fear of failure.
Mm-hmm.
It's like practicing a speech
Yeah.
before a big presentation.
Right.
The more you rehearse, the less anxious you feel, and the more likely you are to deliver a compelling performance.
Okay, I see. So it's not just about wishing for success.
Right.
It's about mentally preparing yourself to handle whatever comes your way.
Precisely. And this ties directly to resilience because it's about being prepared to face challenges and not be thrown off course when they inevitably arise.
Okay, so we've got visualization as one tool for building resilience. What else can we do?
The Mastery Manual offers several practical strategies.
Okay.
One that really stood out to me is the importance of facing your fears head on.
Okay.
It suggests that instead of avoiding what scares you, you should actually lean into those fears
Right.
and confront them directly.
But that sounds terrifying. Why would anyone willingly seek out discomfort?
The idea is that by confronting your fears, you build courage. And courage is a fundamental component of resilience.
Okay.
The more you face those uncomfortable situations, the less power they have over you.
So it's like exposing yourself to the things that make you anxious in small doses
Yeah,
so that they eventually become less intimidating.
exactly. It's not about being reckless,
Okay.
but rather about taking calculated risks and stepping outside of your comfort zone in a controlled way.
Makes sense. So facing your fears, visualizing success, are there any other practical strategies we can use to build resilience?
The Mastery Manual also emphasizes the power of a disciplined morning routine.
Okay.
It sounds simple, but getting up early and creating a structure for your morning can have a significant impact on your resilience.
So we're not just talking about hitting snooze a few times and
Yeah.
grabbing a coffee on the way out the door.
This is about being intentional with your time. The book suggests that the first hour of your day should be dedicated to activities that nourish your mind, body, and spirit.
Oh,
Things like exercise, meditation, journaling, or even just enjoying a quiet cup of coffee and reading something inspiring.
I can see how that could set you up for a more productive and focused day.
Yeah.
But how does that connect to resilience?
When you prioritize self-care and personal growth first thing in the morning, you're essentially building a foundation of inner strength and stability.
Okay.
You're starting the day with intention and focus, which can help you navigate challenges with more clarity and resilience throughout the rest of the day.
Okay, so we've got visualization facing fears and a solid morning routine. All of this seems to connect back to the idea of self-discipline,
Yes.
which was mentioned in another one of our sources, self-discipline mindset. What's the connection between self-discipline and resilience?
That's a great observation. Self-discipline mindset really hammers home the idea that without self-discipline, you can have all the right intentions, but you'll struggle to achieve your goals.
Hmm.
And when you consistently fall short of your goals, it can erode your confidence and make it harder to bounce back from setbacks.
So self-discipline is like the fuel that powers resilience.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Resilience is the ability to get back up when you fall, but self-discipline is the force that helps you stay standing in the first place.
I like that.
Yeah,
It's about having the willpower to make choices that support your goals, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable.
exactly. And that ties back to the idea of a disciplined morning routine.
Right.
It takes self-discipline to get up early and stick to a routine, especially when your warm bed is calling.
So we're seeing how all these strategies start to connect and reinforce each other.
Absolutely.
Building resilience is about creating a system of habits and practices that support your overall well-being and your ability to thrive in the face of challenges.
You got it. And that's where we're going to dive deeper in the next part of this deep dive. We'll be exploring the connection between resilience and long-term success and how these strategies can help you not only overcome obstacles, but also achieve your most ambitious goals.
Sounds fascinating. Can't wait to unpack that with you in the next part.
Yes. Welcome back to our deep dive into building resilience and grit.
Yeah, before the break, we were talking about how important self-discipline is and how it fuels resilience.
Absolutely. Like that old saying,
Yeah.
an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Exactly.
Building that self-discipline helps us stay on track and avoid some of those setbacks in the first place.
And speaking of setbacks, they're inevitable, right?
Right.
Life throws curveballs.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how resilience helps us navigate those challenges when they arise.
Okay.
We've all been there. We hit a wall. A project falls apart. Things just don't go as planned.
Yeah.
What does resilience actually look like in those moments?
One of our sources, New Mindset, New Results, offers a really fascinating perspective on this.
Okay.
It talks about the importance of having a results-focused mindset,
Okay.
which isn't just about, thinking positive thoughts. It's
Yeah.
about having a clear vision for what you want to achieve and a plan to get there.
So it's not about denying the negative.
Right.
It's about focusing on the solution and the outcome you want to create.
Right. The book gives this great example of a technique called submodality change technique.
Okay.
And it's based on the idea that we think with our senses, sight, sound, and feeling. So let's say you have a limiting belief, like I'm not good enough to get that promotion.
Yeah.
This technique would have you visualize that belief as a picture.
Okay, so I'm picturing a big no sign flashing in my mind.
Okay, and now experiment with changing that image.
Okay.
Make it blurry, shrink it down,
Yeah.
change the color to something less intense.
Yeah.
The idea is that by changing the way you perceive that belief, you can actually change the way it makes you feel.
So I'm essentially changing my emotional response
Exactly.
to that negative thought. Instead of letting it paralyze me,
Yeah,
I'm taking away its power.
precisely. And that's a powerful tool for resilience
Okay.
because it's about reframing those negative thoughts and beliefs that can hold you back.
This is making me think about another one of our sources, The Invisible Gorilla,
Yeah.
which talks about inattentional blindness.
Uh-huh.
It's this idea that we miss things that are right in front of us if we're not actively looking for them.
Yes. And how do you think that connects to resilience?
Well, if we're not mentally prepared for the unexpected, those challenges can really blindside us.
Yeah.
It's like in that famous experiment where people are so focused on counting basketball passes
Right.
that they completely miss a person in a gorilla suit walking across the screen.
Exactly. If we're not paying attention, we can be completely caught off guard by challenges and setbacks,
Yeah.
which can make it harder to bounce back.
So resilience is also about developing a broader awareness of what's happening around us
Yes.
and being prepared for the unexpected.
Absolutely. It's about cultivating mental flexibility
Oh, okay.
and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances.
So we've got visualization, facing fears,
Right.
a solid morning routine, and now we're adding mental flexibility and awareness to our resilience toolkit.
Yeah.
What else is important?
Well, let's not forget the importance of self-care and support systems.
Right, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
New Mindset, New Results
Yeah.
touches on this.
Yes.
It actually says that worry physically changes the brain,
Uh-huh.
strengthening those negative pathways.
Yeah.
And it suggests a technique called pattern interrupt to combat this.
Okay, so tell me more about pattern interrupt.
It's a simple but powerful idea.
Uh-huh.
When you find yourself spiraling into worry or anxiety, consciously interrupt that pattern by shifting your focus to something positive or engaging.
Okay.
It could be a hobby, listening to music, or even just taking a few deep breaths.
Like hitting the mental pause button.
Exactly.
Mm.
It allows you to regain control of your thoughts and emotions rather than letting them spiral out of control.
And the Mastery Manual adds another layer to this. It talks about how authentic leaders prioritize their physical well-being.
Okay.
They understand that they can't perform at their best if they're not taking care of their physical needs.
So what kind of physical self-care do they recommend?
The usual suspects: eating nutritious foods, exercising regularly, and getting enough sleep.
Mhm.
But they also highlight the importance of things like massage and spending time in nature.
Okay.
It's about listening to your body and giving it what it needs to thrive.
Makes sense. It's about recognizing that self-care isn't selfish.
Right.
It's essential for our overall well-being and ability to show up fully in the world.
Absolutely. And when you're feeling your best physically, you're more likely to have the mental and emotional resilience to tackle challenges.
This deep dive is really highlighting how interconnected all these different aspects of our lives are.
Yeah.
It's not just about mastering one specific skill or technique.
Mm-hmm.
It's about creating a holistic system that supports our overall well-being and resilience.
You've hit the nail on the head. Building resilience is a multifaceted journey, and we've covered a lot of ground today, but we're not quite done yet. In the final part of this deep dive, we'll explore strategies for maintaining motivation and cultivating the grit to persevere even when faced with long-term challenges and setbacks.
Okay, I'm ready for more. Let's do it. Welcome back. We've been talking about how to build resilience, those skills that help us bounce back from challenges.
Right.
Now let's talk about maintaining that motivation, that inner fire, especially when we're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, it's one thing to pick yourself up after a setback.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to keep going when you're facing a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
That's where grit comes in.
So we're moving from the bounce back of resilience to the keep going of grit. What helps us cultivate that kind of stamina?
Well, one of our sources, New Mindset, New Results, had a really interesting take on this.
Okay.
The idea of behavioral contracts.
Okay, tell me more about these behavioral contracts. What are they and how do they work?
Think of it as making a promise to yourself, but with a twist.
Yeah.
You actually write it down like a real contract.
Okay.
And ideally, you get a partner involved for accountability.
Mm-hmm.
The key here is that you build in rewards for keeping your promise.
So it's not about punishment if I slip up.
Right.
It's about positive reinforcement for staying on track.
Exactly. Instead of beating yourself up for missing a workout, you celebrate going 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
This shifts the focus from what you didn't do to what you did accomplish.
It seems like that would make it easier to stay motivated.
Yeah.
If you're constantly focusing on the negative,
Yeah.
it's easy to get discouraged.
Right. It's about creating a system that encourages you to keep moving forward, even if it's one small step at a time.
This makes me think about your next 5 moves and that concept of investment time return, or ITR.
Uh-huh.
It's about making sure that you're getting the best return on the time you invest, especially in relation to your goals.
That's a great connection. It's not just about working hard. It's about working smart. Are you putting your time and energy into things that will actually move you closer to where you want to be?
So it's about being strategic with your time and energy.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just be busy.
Yeah.
You have to be intentional about what you're focusing on.
Right. And that intentionality requires clarity about your goals.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're aiming for, it's hard to know if you're on the right path.
So it's back to that results-focused mindset again.
Exactly.
You have to know where you're going if you want to get there.
And that brings us back to the importance of those support systems we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When you're working towards a long-term goal, having people in your corner can make all the difference.
It's like having a team of cheerleaders
Mm-hmm.
encouraging you along the way.
But how do we build those kinds of supportive relationships?
It starts with being intentional about the people you surround yourself with.
Okay.
Seek out individuals who are positive, encouraging, and who share your values.
And don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
It's about recognizing that we don't have to do it all alone. Having people to lean on, to celebrate with, and to commiserate with can make the journey so much more rewarding.
Absolutely. And sometimes just knowing that someone believes in you can be enough to keep you going when you're feeling discouraged.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of what it takes to build resilience and grit.
Me too.
And it's not just about theory, it's about taking action.
Right.
We've explored so many practical strategies that you can start implementing today.
Mm-hmm.
So if our listener is feeling inspired to cultivate more resilience and grit, what's one small step they can take right now?
I would say pick one strategy that resonates with you
Okay.
and commit to trying it for a week. It could be establishing a morning routine, facing a small fear, or even just visualizing yourself achieving a goal.
Okay.
Remember, resilience and grit are built one step at a time.
Great advice. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into building resilience and grit. We hope this has been a valuable journey for you.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.